Hey everybody, if you would like to get more involved with the show and become a VIP of the Basement Lounge, just head on over to our website, tblpod.net, and click on the Become a VIP button. That will take you over to our Patreon where you can join and become a VIP and get access to all kinds of cool features, things like guest interviews, early released episodes, a special private RSS feed for your podcast app, and so much more. Every contribution helps us grow this show into something new and more exciting. So join the Patreon today. Go to our website, tblpod.net, or go to patreon.com/tbl_pod and become a VIP today.
This episode is powered by Poddex.
Go to www.poddex.com and use the code TBL10 to get 10% off your purchase at checkout. Once again, that's www.poddex.com. Welcome to the Basement Lounge Podcast with your hosts Mike Shea and Mike Wells. Sit back, grab a drink, relax. Let's see where the time takes us. Enjoy. All right. Normally I don't do formal intros on the show, but I want to do one real quick.
So we're not going to. No, I'm just joking.
Well, I got, you know, I want to mention, first of all, the elephant in the room. Of course, we have a guest, Kyle Steele. Not that he's an elephant. It's just,
I'm pretty big.
Kyle Steele's here. We've had Kyle on the show before. It's been a hot minute, but we wouldn't be physically in this room of this house without Kyle, because Kyle helped me.
Oh, seriously?
Kyle was my realtor guy.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
I recommended him by Dusty.
Yeah. We were going to use him. My wife was like, I wanted to use you. We didn't use, I felt really bad about it.
Oh, I don't care.
Because it was literally like, we were going to talk to something like, you know how realtors are. It's just like,
sure.
You call in and we called because we saw this house and we just called somebody real fast and they're like, oh, you don't want to look at this house. Because it was like $70,000, but you couldn't go in and look at it.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
And then from there, it was like, oh, and then we just had a realtor.
Oh, okay.
That's how it goes.
Yeah.
But part of my job is to get to people before that happens. So if
we weren't going to fucking buy it. The only reason we even thought about looking at the house is like, oh, 70,000. Like, obviously something's wrong with it, but like, wait, you can't even go in and look at it.
We call those bait houses.
Yeah.
We bait people in. So that we can get clients.
So I was a fucking mouse in a trap is what I'm
always. Always.
I wanted to mention off top though, our last two episodes both went over 1,200 hits.
Seriously?
Not even like, cause I called you the one day when the one went over 400 and I was like, holy shit. Mm-hmm. They've both crossed 1,200.
Seriously?
Not even fucking kidding.
That's my wiener.
That's your. It's that leaked Mike Wells dick pic.
Do you hear that? That's my dick. I'm joking.
So I mean, whatever we've been doing is starting to work. But I mean, shout out to everybody who's checked out the show. We've had a couple people sign up for the mailing list on the website, so we're gonna figure out how that works here in a little bit.
Holy shit, we don't even know what to do.
The website was like, we have a mailing list option. I was like, oh, that's cool. We'll use that someday. And then a bunch of people signed up for it. And I was like, well, fuck, better figure out how it works then, I guess. All right. But yeah, thanks to everybody who signed up for that. We really do appreciate it. Let's keep that momentum going, motherfuckers. Don't let us down. Don't you fucking let us down.
Just listen.
Swear to God.
Listen.
Next episode's going to have like 5.
Probably. It'd be just me. Be me. Breathing heavy.
It's all because Kyle's here.
I realized I was listening, like, I've listened to our episodes before, but like I was really like mowing. I was like, man, I breathe heavy in some of the episodes.
Well, when you guessed it on my pod, and it was just you breathing. I don't even think you even talked. It was just you breathing into a microphone.
Oh, really?
No. We'd ask Mike a question and he's going.
I was actually talking to my wife about that Zandali movie today, and she was like, that's the worst fucking movie ever.
I forgot. Okay, so you were dating her at the time.
Yeah, now we're married.
Yeah. It's a shock that she wound up marrying after you made her watch that movie.
I have no fucking idea what this movie is.
Oh, you need to go watch Zandali. When you watch clips of Nicolas Cage,
of course,
they'll show like his craziest freakouts.
Oh yeah,
a couple of them were from that movie. There's one where he's like covered in paint.
I think I've seen that one.
That's Zandali.
Yeah. It's a bad movie.
It's a bad movie.
It's Nicolas Cage movie. 6 in one hand, half a dozen in the other. That they're going to be bad movies. I mean,
yeah, but it was bad. Like it wasn't even all that enjoyable. Even the freakouts. I don't know if it was worth it, man. It just wasn't.
Was it Running with the Devil bad or?
It's a lot worse than that.
No. Oh, shit.
Oh, for sure.
I mean, Right with the Devil wasn't the worst Cage movie I've ever seen, but it was definitely underwhelming.
The worst Nicolas Cage movie is Firebirds, and it's really not even
Not even
close.
going to argue with that.
It's horrendous.
Kyle is our resident Nicolas Cage expert because for the longest time, his show, The Movie Review Hour, was called the Nicolas Cage Movie Review Hour. Every Nick Cage movie.
Yeah, I'm the only person in the circle that's seen them because even like my wife was guest host. She didn't fucking stick around for half of those things. And then we'd have rotating comics. And then we had another guest host. We had the first co-host quit. The second co-host.
That's when you know the movie's bad.
The second co-host basically quit. And then we finally got our regular rotation guy towards the end, or I guess halfway through. I say towards the end because we're 50 movies in, but that's halfway. So that's like, but I'm the only one in that circle that's seen them all. And it's like, it's fucking, I've seen every single one. It's bizarre. It's a weird world.
God.
And now I've seen every Sandra Bullock movie too.
God bless you. Well, but more of hers are worth watching.
Here's quite a few stinkers in there though.
Who's Sandra Bullock? No, I'm just kidding. You ever heard of the 90s?
She was in all of them.
How many movies does she have?
It was like 42 or 43.
Wow.
And now we're doing Leo.
Leo DiCaprio?
Wow.
Yeah, and he has not. I'll tell you, because we're doing like with Nicolas Cage, we bounced all over the place.
Right.
With Sandra Bullock, we went in release order, and we did the same thing for Leo. We're doing the same thing for Leo.
Right.
And his first movie was Critters 3. That's a stinker.
He did that before Gilbert Grape.
Yeah, he had another movie for Gilbert Grape, which was called This Boy's Life.
Oh.
Which was pretty good. That's actually a pretty good movie. So besides Critters 3, that's like an anomaly. Okay. So besides Critters 3, which is his first movie, he hasn't had a stinker.
Yeah, well, take his Oscar away. Take his Oscar away. He has a stinker.
I mean, it's crazy. I mean, it's
That's why everybody.
Sandra Bullock had quite a few stinkers, and I'm looking at what's coming up. I'm like, well, fucking none of those are stinkers.
Well, the thing, you said Leo, and I was kind of thinking in my head, I was like, I can't think of a bad movie he's made.
My least favorite one so far is Romeo and Juliet. I just really,
I don't like how
that shit was like a fever dream. That is wild.
Well, it's a Baz Luhrmann pick. It's the same guy who did Moulin Rouge and Simply Ballroom, which are all just acid trips.
Yeah, but you have
film.
if I remember, don't they fight with guns? And it's been forever.
But they fight with guns as if they're swords. It's a really weird.
So they go. What's the Christian Bale movie?
Equilibrium
with the gun kata.
It is. If you haven't seen that movie, it is an acid trip that you are watching, and it is a mushroom trip that you are listening to.
Yeah.
And when those two worlds collide, it's not great.
It's
not
a bad
great.
trip.
Yeah, it's too much. It's too much.
Well, that's why everybody said for the longest time that Leo was overdue for an Oscar, because it's like name one bad movie. He only has one, apparently.
Should have fucking won it for What's Eating Gilbert Grape, because I thought he was literally autistic or what?
You didn't want to drop a hard R?
I didn't want to drop a hard R.
It was close though.
Yeah, I saw it. Autistic.
It kind of got caught in your mouth.
I didn't even know I didn't know who he was when I watched that movie.
Yeah.
And then I was like, okay, that guy's autistic.
Yeah.
Or the hard R. That guy's the hard R, not the N word.
Dude, there's a great movie called Joe. If you haven't seen Joe with Nicolas Cage, it's a great movie. Mm-hmm. One of the main characters in the movie is this like dad or stepdad, I don't remember which one, but plays like this alcoholic that is kind of evil, but like not evil in like a kind of more of like a banal type evil. Like at one point he does kill like a homeless person to take their alcohol, but he's evil.
He's not like evil. He just kills homeless people for booze.
But it's even the way it happens. It's like a kind of that banality of evil kind of thing. Mm-hmm. But apparently that guy was a homeless guy. And he was like either around set. I don't know. He's dead now. He died of an overdose.
Oh, but meant like they killed him on set, like it was a snuff film.
He died later of an overdose. Jesus. But he was not an actor. He was a guy, and he was so good in that movie, and it's because I don't think he was acting. That's just who he was. Like he was this kind of grungy looking alcoholic.
If he's homeless, I'm sure at one point he was an actor, because that's usually how most of them wind up.
or a comic.
It's like like Robert Downey Jr. playing Tony Stark. Like, of course it's going to be good because that's fucking Robert Downey Jr.
Lived.
Yeah.
Tony Stark is literally Robert Downey Jr.
Well, that's why you've got, Cardi B in that movie about the strippers that drug dudes and robbed them. Because, I mean, she was a pro at that.
And then going back in Leo, he's pretty dumb. So it just kind of like full circle with it. It just...
Not the smartest grape in the bunch there. That's why his name is Gilbert.
I like how you brought that around.
It was a long way to get to that punchline.
Correct. It was all for that. That's all. We were just building up.
This is where we do our wine tasting now.
It's fucking. I had no idea what I planned on us even talking about today, but then some big fucking news dropped a couple of hours ago.
Derek
At the
Chauvin.
time that we're recording this, Derek Chauvin is guilty as sin.
You know what I was thinking? There's that Anthony Jeselnik joke where he's talking about kind of like how he tweets after it's at the end of that special. He's talking about it.
How he tweets, yeah.
And one of the little punchlines in that joke is he sees something and he goes, great. Now, how am I going to make this funny? Mm-hmm. Right. And I was thinking that as on the way over here, because I knew we were going to talk about that. Mm-hmm. And I was like, I bet Mike is just sitting around going, all right, how am I going to make this funny?
Although I did see a good one. Somebody wrote,
I saw a really good one. I cannot repeat it, but it was fantastic.
Somebody's like, if you're for Derek Chauvin, you're a chauvinist.
Oh no!
I thought that was good.
I like that because it works on two levels.
Yeah.
The one that I saw, it was a buddy of mine, and him and I have this group chat. That if anyone ever came across it, I would lose my job. I would lose probably my wife. I would lose custody of my children.
Ooh.
It is a thread that is
the next iPhone hack.
Dude, hack me, because you could ruin my life. I mean, it is really, really awful. But the whole point of the thread with him and I is that we're trying to just one up. So whatever's I'm telling you, when I'm not being sarcastic. It's the worst shit I can think of. Now
I got to see this thread.
He will do it. I'll show you the one he posted today, because now he will do on his personal page. You're just going to get Mike's reaction. He's not going to read this out loud.
I'm not going to read it.
Because if he reads it out loud, he's going to get in trouble. But this is what he posted on his personal Facebook as soon as the verdict came out.
Okay. That's actually good, though.
It's really good.
Yeah.
It's really good, but it's awful.
Yeah.
But
holy shit, that's good.
That's good, right?
That makes me wish I wrote that.
I know. It's good. It's really, really good.
Fuck. You'll have something eventually, though. Oh, shit. There it goes. I got to, yeah.
I never tried to write a joke about it yet.
Yeah, I was going to say, you're given enough time, I'm sure you will come up with something.
Did I just ruin it by showing that to you now?
No.
Now that's like the only.
So what happened? This is why I didn't write a joke about it. So it's been like, I've been wanting Road to the Show, MLB's 21 Road to the Show to come out for Xbox, and it came out today. Oh. So I've been playing that most of the day today. Like, I specifically took today off from work just to play that game, and I was like, oh, the verdict is today.
I didn't know it was going to be today, and then I got the blip on my phone that said the jury had come back, and I was like, oh shit.
I was listening to it. I pulled it up. I was on my way to the office, and I sat in the parking lot and listened to it announced.
I was super pissed because I asked for the day off, and I was like, maybe I'll have to drive up to Cleveland today. I was like, fuck. My mom's in Cleveland, but I asked for this day off for this fucking video game, and I can't fucking play it. It's the first time they've released it on Xbox ever. I've been waiting for like 8 to 10 years for this fucking video game to come out. My dick was hard. Like,
That's
there it is.
No, but like, and then like, I'm like, I might have to go pick up my mom. And mom's like, yeah, you have to pick me up tomorrow. I'm like, okay, cool. And then that's why I honestly didn't have anything for it, because I'm usually all about that. Like, I'm like, but I was just too busy playing video games.
I don't want to say his name because he took it down and he got a bunch of heat for it. But there was a comic that right after the tornadoes, he posted about, I think it was Trotwood. And it was fucking hilarious.
Right.
And he got so much shit by all the local comics, and he finally took it down.
This sounds familiar.
And I was like, why would you take that? That's fucking hilarious. Like,
I don't know.
I feel like I remember that, but not enough to think about who it was.
Yeah.
It's good.
And then another comic had a really good one for Ralphie May too, and he got a bunch of shit for it. But
the only thing I wrote about Derek Chauvin, he deserves to be fucked in the ass and mouth for 9 minutes and 29 seconds.
I do remember that one. That was a good one.
yeah,
But that was before the verdict.
Yeah, and you're not really going to get pushback on that. You know what I mean? That's you're towing a pretty good line there.
You're fine. You're fine.
I almost put that on like my comedy like Facebook page just to piss people off.
Just to rile them up.
Just to see what they do.
I don't know. Like I was thinking, what's really fucked up about that verdict is like of everything that happened. Like we're shocked that he got found guilty.
Oh, absolutely.
That's the most fucked up part
Is
about
that
it.
it's so obvious.
It's so obvious he should be guilty, but yet we're shocked that he was found guilty because of
It's
Absolutely.
it's a really weird like line there where you like look at it. I want
black and white, or you look at it from like a black and white. Is that what you're about to say?
No, it wasn't. No. It's because I don't want. I'm a very like kind of like I'm like a sophist. I don't know if you've heard that term before, but like
No.
I like.
Do you like sofas?
I like.
He fucks couches.
I don't view things through like this really intense lens through one angle. Like I'm very much so like when things happen, like I can see it from both sides always. Now there are some things that are not meant to be seen from both sides, and this could be one of those things. I don't know. But like from my perspective, just understanding, being objective for a second and understanding the job that law enforcement is doing, there are protections that are built into their job for a reason.
Yeah.
If you're going to have law, now whether we should have law enforcement, what you should do with it, that's a whole different conversation, would require a lot of great minds that I don't have.
People smarter than us.
Exactly.
I disagree.
I think we can do this. But if you look at it objectively, you can understand why police officers, there has to be a margin of error where they cannot be found criminally liable for something happening. If you're given the wrong address to a house and you go into that house and someone pulls a gun on you and you shoot them, you can't be held criminally liable for that because you're acting on the information that you've received. Someone says there's domestic disturbance at this address. You go to that address, or even if you go to the wrong address because you read the wrong number, you're in the middle of doing your job as a police officer. And if you hold every single one of those things criminally liable, you're not going to have a police force left. So there has to be a level of understanding that mistakes happen and that these are humans performing these jobs. But again, with the Derek Chauvin thing, this is why the blue line has kind of fallen, because throughout this trial, anybody that mattered in that police department turned on him. The chief testified against him. Paramedics were testifying against him. Like no one was on his side in that.
I feel like his mom testified against him. His wife divorced him.
His wife divorced him too. She was hot as fuck too.
Their Hail Mary defense was things like, oh, well, he was down on the ground by the exhaust, so the carbon monoxide. But what I loved today was the reporter was like, yeah, but that was also a police vehicle, so it's still kind of their fault.
Well, but here's the thing.
It's genius.
Well, this is what you have to remember, though. That's a really good thing. It wouldn't matter anyway, but that is a good thought process. But here's what you have to remember. The prosecution's job is they have one story and they have to prove that story. A defense's job is to offer, like the Casey Anthony case is a prime example, where if you can input another thing that's possible, you can still say, yeah, she basically killed her baby, but it wasn't in the way that they're saying, and it wasn't, therefore it didn't qualify for this charge that they're doing, which is why she's found innocent. Yeah, so the Derek Chauvin stuff, their whole job is, yeah, maybe he did die because of Derek Chauvin. However, or maybe it was at his hand, so to speak, but it was actually his heart. It was actually this. It was actually this. It could be this, could be that, could be that. You just have to have one thing be plausible and you win.
Yeah, because that's beyond reasonable doubt.
Correct.
Yeah. Yep.
And prosecution only has one story of how it happened, and they have to stick to that. Well, they don't get any variance.
And I think they did a good enough job, too, because, I mean, they had medical experts coming up and saying, like, well, sure, all that may or may not be true, but let's be honest, kneeling on someone's neck for 10 minutes,
correct,
probably going to kill him.
Yeah.
You don't need that other stuff.
That's the issue with this whole thing. It's like, let's just say his artery, instead of being 90% clogged, was 99% clogged. Mm-hmm. It doesn't matter because he didn't have a heart attack because of that. He had a heart attack because someone's fucking knee was in his goddamn neck.
Yeah,
for 9 fucking minutes.
If you like, listen, you're 99%. You're reaching at this point. Right? You guys are like, well, if it was on a Sunday because of the weather,
Right.
and there's a little cold outside and the constriction of the veins, be like, what the fuck are you talking about?
Is this a college math quiz? Like
There's an abnormal amount of people that die on their birthdays, so maybe it was that.
Let's just not celebrate birthdays anymore.
Yeah.
They kill people. Everyone I know that's gotten old
Wait, a
has
lot of people
died.
die on their birthday?
That's a real thing. There's
it's
like an
actually a thing.
abnormal amount of people.
Dude,
that
I was
die on
born
their
at
birthdays.
11:11 at 11:11 a.m.
Oh, you're fucked.
I know,
Are
so
you
I'm
really?
probably going to die at 11:11 at 11:11 on
On your birthday.
If you
3011.
if it isn't natural, I'll make sure it happens. So no worries.
That's cool. Sniper around from afar.
Yeah.
I wanted everybody to be like, oh, Mike was important. Like if I just fucking take a blast to the head randomly. Like,
You have to go down. Yeah, it's the Nirvana effect.
like what?
Well, what's so interesting to me too is because they're one of the because Minnesota or Milwaukee where this happened. Minnesota. They're one of the states that allows for the inclusion of lesser charges in the docket because not every state does that.
Yeah.
I don't know if Ohio does or not, but they found him guilty of fucking everything.
Well, the thing was, what made me mad is people are trying to get him like, why weren't you charged with first-degree murder? And I'm like, do you know what first-degree murder is?
You have to have intent.
Exactly. You can't prove intent.
The degree isn't measured by like how fucked up the murder is. It's measured. It's just called. It's why a lot of states have moved away from calling it like first. Like South Carolina, they don't call it. It's like murder, voluntary manslaughter, involuntary manslaughter because the degree system.
Well, then depending on where you are, you have felonious murder, which is
Yeah.
just murder committed while committing a felony.
Yeah.
Which again, if Casey Anthony had been charged with felonious murder, right? Because again,
It's ultimately like the replay rule in NFL.
I wish you could just redo it.
Right.
Yeah. Fuck double jeopardy. Let's just go. Yeah.
Like, all right, well, I mean, beyond a reasonable doubt, her hands are around the baby and put the baby in the car.
Right.
Is that, yeah, she did that, right?
Yeah.
I can't remember.
No, she did. Yeah. And they admitted it in court.
Yeah. That's why I got out of law. That's why I switched from law to broadcasting because I was pre-law for a while, and I just when you get into all that red tape and all it was one of those things where it was like, wow, the legal system kind of sucks.
Well, and they didn't even charge her with, like they could have charged her with like defiling a corpse or like moving
Yeah.
a body, which she admitted to in trial. And literally had they just charged her with that, she would have gotten quite a bit of time. But because they didn't charge her with it, there's nothing they can do.
Yeah, and that's when because you see sometimes where these prosecutors will like try to get as many charges as possible, and some just go for the one big one.
They wanted the death penalty.
Yeah.
So they knew that in order to do that, you couldn't bog down with all these other charges. You had to go all in on this and then go for the death penalty, and that fucked them.
Yeah, it's so weird that she's still alive. You figured somebody would kill her by now.
I mean, for real.
Yeah.
And like non-jokingly, like
Yeah, I
I'm,
know,
I'm
like-
shocked.
Yeah, somebody would literally kill her.
That's why whenever they talk about sex offenders, child predators getting 5-10 years, I'm like, yeah, but it's going to be if they survive those 5-10 years, they're going to be the worst 5 to 10 years of their lives.
Yeah. I wonder what's going to happen with Derek Chauvin now.
I think he lasts 30
Do you think
minutes.
he gets killed in jail?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I don't.
Probably.
Well,
If
the
they
thing is,
couldn't keep
though-
Jeffrey Epstein alive, you're not keeping that motherfucker
Well, the thing
alive.
is, it depends on if they keep him in solitary.
He'll
Probably.
have to spend his entire time, and it also depends on how much time he gets. Because he got convicted of the highest one,
Yeah.
you can get up to 40 years. But what
I doubt he'll
they-
get necessarily that long.
They were saying that it's more likely he'll probably get like 15 because it's like first offense.
I think it's just
Police officer.
throw the book at, like, I think
It's all going to depend on the judge, and of course, sentencing hearings. Everyone gets to come in and make an impassioned statement. Both like George Floyd's family, and then like Chauvin's family. I'm sure his ex-wife will come in and be like, "Lock his ass up."
I highly doubt it.
Yeah.
Should probably stay out of it.
I'm sure, but like you'll have George Floyd's family there, and asking the judge for the maximum. And I don't know. I'll tell you what, because today when they threw down the verdict, the first thing he did was ask the prosecutors any motions, and they were like, motion to have bail revoked, and he didn't fucking hesitate. He was like, no bail, put him in jail. Like, didn't even like take the time to listen to counter argument from the defense. He's like, fuck him. And I was telling Kyle before you got here, Mike, is the whole time they were just zoomed in on Chauvin's face.
He just looked completely
like,
surprised.
what?
Yeah.
I'm not getting away with this?
Yep.
You said I was getting away with fuck.
Really?
His
And the defense
eyebrows
did
were-
everything they could do. I mean, there was really not much more they could have done.
Unfortunately, we have 10 minutes of video of this guy kneeling on the dude's neck.
Or
It's like-
fortunately, unfortunately for him, fortunately for everybody else.
It's sorry guys, but we got 10 minutes of video of you just
Imagine being
neck.
his lawyer.
No.
Be like, hey, and the lawyer's like, fuck, I don't want to take this.
Oh, I'm sure I can't.
This is getting L.
I wonder
Like,
that sometimes, 'cause especially when you get like public defenders and stuff like that. It's like, well, that's why most cases just get pled out before going to trial. But being assigned as the attorney to defend like something like that, like how do you do that?
I mean, your job is just to like the court system in our country is fragile.
Yeah.
And it's been held together because people are willing to do those things, willing to put this aside and say, I'm going to do the best job I can at getting this. At the very least, they're getting a fair trial.
Yeah.
Whether I think they did it or not is irrelevant. If they did do it, that needs to be proven. So my job is to go up against you and do my best to show that you haven't proven it. So and by doing that, you know, you preserve the court system. I mean, it's like that you need people that, you know, I hate when you have, especially racially charged cases where we want like not only just a witch hunt, but you want like, you don't want them to be defended. It's like, you need that.
Yeah.
You need them to have not only that, but you need to have the best representation possible. So that way it doesn't get a mistrial later, you know, or have, you know, win an appeal or something. Like he needs to have the best possible defense imaginable so that he stays in fucking jail.
He just needed Thanos.
That's what I was explaining to my little brother today, because he was watching the verdict drop with us, and it's telling him, you know, he's like, they're not going to sentence him for a few weeks. There's going to be appeals, and his lawyers are going to file motions, I'm sure, although they didn't seem to be objecting to a whole lot once the verdict came down. You know, it's
all boilerplate.
At this point, they know they're fucked, so they're just going to hope for the best in terms of sentencing. And
it'll be about 6 weeks.
you think that long?
Yeah.
Really? I figured it'd be like 2.
Nah, it'll be about 6 weeks.
I think he's already
6 to 8
dead,
weeks.
so it doesn't even matter.
I mean, he might very well. I mean, I don't know where. I mean, obviously he's going to jail.
Well, that might be a thing too, where they might his lawyers will probably like request
Protection.
Well, it's a lot harder to keep you safe in jail than it is prison.
That's the thing. The security, not
As a
that,
cop.
but like the cops and like the fucking, I can't think of what. No,
Like prison guards?
prison guards aren't going to want to put up with that either.
no.
Because you're like, you make us all look really bad.
Yeah.
So it's like,
Like, oh, I left your door open. You should start walking that way.
Bubba in here.
no, he's going to get fucked.
Oh yeah,
He's going to get fucked.
he's gonna do the hardest time like ever, and I don't mean it necessarily in terms of sentencing, but his time in prison is going to be miserable.
Here's a question.
Okay.
And I know this isn't like what everybody wants to talk about, but again, I like to have objective conversation.
Yeah.
Sure.
Do you think he did it on purpose?
To kill, he did not. I don't think he meant to kill him.
No, I don't think. And again, that's where the first degree murder thing comes in. No, I don't think he went out. I don't think he was like, that guy right there, I'm gonna go kill that motherfucker.
Yeah.
I think he intended to be as rough as possible.
Okay.
He wanted to hurt him.
He wanted to hurt him.
Yeah.
He wanted to establish.
And at the end of the day, if that's what your angle is, I remember watching when I was going through school, because I was a paralegal. I remember going through school and we were watching this video about these kids that removed a stop sign. And they were like on the side of the road watching people run this stop sign, and there's a couple of like close calls. Well, eventually somebody got into a car accident and died.
Right.
They'd crossed in the intersection, somebody was coming. And the whole argument was you removed the sign because you thought it was funny that people were almost getting hurt. So when someone got hurt and died, that is intent.
Yeah.
That is murder. Because the whole reason why it was funny in the first place is because that could happen.
Yeah.
So just based off of that,
And
it is a murder charge.
They were kids.
They weren't kids. They were like older teens. I think they were like 18, 19.
Say they're young enough, because then you can argue that they would understand the
Yeah,
consequences
they're just
of their
dumb.
actions.
Oh, when when I was fucking 14 years old, we would put saran wrap across the road
Oh Jesus.
so that people would drive through it and it would make a real loud popping sound. So we put that over, and we were pretty young. It's not an excuse, but we were pretty young. And we put it across, and a fucking motorcycle came down the road. And I remember that moment because I was like, holy fuck. And he went through it and nothing happened. And I was like, never again will I do anything remotely like this. Thank God it didn't end in like tragedy.
Because he could have been thrown off that bike.
Correct. Like I thankfully I learned the lesson without anything bad happening.
Yeah.
Some people learn that lesson and they go to prison for the rest of their lives.
Yeah.
I learned the lesson and nothing happened. So, and that's what sucks is that's why you can't do that shit at all. But try telling a fucking dumbass 14-year-old that.
14-year-old's not gonna.
Good luck.
They're gonna yeet.
Yeah. Mike, you ever almost kill somebody on a motorcycle?
No, but I do honestly. What the Chauvin thing, I also do think he wanted to show because he was training that cop.
Yeah.
He wanted to show,
and I think
cop.
that's kind of a really good response to that question, which is like, did he try to kill him? No, but he tried to fucking hurt him.
Yeah, he tried to hurt him.
He was trying to make him as uncomfortable as humanly possible, and it just wound up killing him. And well, sorry about your luck, so to speak.
Well, he was training that cop. He wanted to show the cop he was training, like, this is what we do. This is like,
we're badasses.
Yeah, we're badass.
I'm John Wayne.
Well, speaking of training, I mean that kind of brings up what happened with Daunte Wright. Kimberly Potter was the officer who claims to have thought she had pulled her taser instead of her gun, and shot Daunte Wright. I have very strong feelings about how stupid of an excuse that is.
Oh, she's on like 22 years or something.
26 years on the force. She was one of the officers in charge of training rookies. There's so many things. It's like, okay, other side of the hip, different shape, weighs differently, bright yellow color.
Did you see Pat Robertson get on?
Yeah.
And like, I don't understand how you could get these mixed up. Like,
and
I'm like, God damn it, Pat Robertson.
If Pat Robertson is on your side, like, then God isn't on your side. So you're real fucked.
And it also has me going like the meme where it's like, right, but that's worse, right? You understand why that's worse? Yeah. That you didn't know the difference after 26 fucking years on the force?
Just, you fucked up. You fucked up. You killed somebody. Like, it's on your not. Oh my God.
What's crazy is that she had the wherewithal.
Yeah.
To immediately go, like on the body cam, to immediately lay the foundation. She shot him and immediately went, oh, I thought that was the taser.
And you see her like look
I haven't
at the
seen
gun.
the video.
In the video, she's like got the gun in her hand. She's going at it like, oh, like she's all like turning it around like she can't believe it's a gun. But then she points it back at him. I'm like, well, no, at that point, you put the gun away.
Yeah, and grab your taser.
And grab your actual taser.
Or go render some type of aid, which was obviously the big thing in the Derek Chauvin case too, that nobody rendered any type of aid once they realized what was going on.
Yeah. It just in terms of like it's like, oh, I thought it was a taser, right? But that's not better.
Yeah.
If anything, that makes you look grossly incompetent, and it calls into question anything you've ever done. Well, and again,
depending on what state that's in, that level of incompetence can be considered neglect, and neglect could be, depending on what level, could be a felony, and then while committing a felony, a murder takes place or death happens, then boom, you have a whole different charge that carries the same sentence as murder, even if it's not a murder charge specifically.
Yeah, because you can get a non-murder charge elevated to murder based on extenuating circumstances or mitigating, whatever the difference is. Do you think, because Chauvin didn't get a hate crime, do you think she gets it with a hate crime?
No, I also don't. That's going to be a real tough one, because
you got to have him, I think, saying the N-word while doing it.
You pretty much have to have a diary entry.
Well, that's going to be a hard one just to even get a conviction.
Yeah.
I mean, if you think the Derek Chauvin thing really wasn't that complicated, that one is, because she did she made it look like it was an accident. Now, she didn't respond necessarily to the extent of someone that made that level of mistake, but
no, she covered her bases.
But she covered her bases enough to where it's going to make it tough.
She laid the groundwork for a defense, whether or not anybody buys the defense.
Yes.
And again, a almost 30-year veteran of the force saying, "Oh, I didn't know." Most juries, I think, are going to be reasonable enough to go, "Yeah, that doesn't fly." Like,
they should have every police officer subpoena every police officer, have them go on the stand, blindfold them, and then pick up a gun and pick up a taser and say which was which.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, 100%. I also think that's what because you could thinking about like the OJ case, you could have had a 7th grade science teacher talk away the glove thing with Cochran. It's like, oh, the glove shrank. Hi, Mrs. Sipowicz from East Side Middle School. What the leather glove was caked in wet blood. What happens to a leather when it's caked in a liquid and sat on a shelf for a time? It shrinks. Thank you. No further questions, Your Honor.
Yeah, and then what happens when you have a glove underneath a glove?
Exactly. Yeah. But yeah, with the Daunte Wright thing, as soon as I heard that excuse, at first, because I work at a news station, so I hear every day it's somebody got shot and something else, and to the point where nowadays it's not even like oh my god, it's a fuck another one, really.
That's how mass shootings were. I mean, not just mass shootings, but school shootings. I mean, there was a really
there's been like 12 mass shootings. I feel like
there's been
12
quite
minutes.
a few mass, but, school shootings have slowed down. If you remember, it was like
because nobody's in fucking school anymore.
That's real valid. Did not think about that.
Didn't even think about that, did you?
Didn't think about that.
I mean, I wrote about that on Twitter like last year.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Good thing is school shootings down because nobody's there.
Yeah.
Same thing with the shootings we've had just in the last couple of weeks. Like, suddenly everybody's getting vaccinated and going out in public again, and the shootings are okay. Yeah, I see a pattern.
Well, I don't think the one was going to. 3 people did die, but I think it was
at the FedEx building.
Not the FedEx. There's one
different mass shooting.
Different one. They're calling a mass shooting. I think they're calling it a mass shooting, anyways. But I think everything was related. Like it was like a scorn lover type thing.
Gotcha.
So I have to read into that more. But I was like, I don't really would consider. I mean, that's still fucked up. But
yeah.
But no, you had the fucking FedEx building or whatever, and then probably 7 others we didn't hear about.
Yeah, there was the one at the massage parlors with the dude kill all the Asian people, and again, everybody got vaccinated. Oh man, I can go out in public now. Go shoot some people.
I mean, honestly, it doesn't surprise me it's happening.
I'm not shocked. It's more of just kind of like,
which is fucking weird.
Here we go.
I'm at work sometimes. I'm thinking, is this guy gonna come and shoot a place? Which is weird, right? Mm-hmm. But I think about that because everybody has been so locked up for ever to where people want to get shit out.
They added a whole bunch of new security stuff at the building I work at, and my first reaction, which should not have been, was, "Oh yeah, that makes sense."
Yeah,
I hate that it makes sense. It shouldn't make sense, but it does, and that's the fucked up part.
Yeah. Nah, there was 3 mass shootings last week or some shit like that. It was ridiculous. To a point where I was like, well, what's new? Welcome to America. Mm-hmm. The only thing we like more than mass shooting is vigils.
That's a good one.
I miss the days when our biggest pain in the ass was the Westboro Baptist Church, just protesting people's funerals.
Dude, can somebody shoot them?
Yeah. Well, they're not Fred Phelps died.
Yeah. And
I didn't know that.
They haven't really been heard from ever since. My favorite was when Steve Jobs died, and the daughter tweeted, "We'll be protesting Steve Jobs' funeral," and it said tweeted from an iPhone. I was like, that's fantastic.
Westboro, God.
All through college, it was just every time a celebrity would die, you were just waiting for the inevitable announcement.
They were the internet troll before the internet troll.
They were. I mean,
they were trolling on VHS tapes and sending them out.
Oh my God, yeah. I remember because they were protesting. I mean, they protested Steve Jobs' funeral. They protested. I remember that when guy used to play for Slayer, the guitarist who died, they went to protest his. Everybody. There's one more
celebrity. They also used to do these weird covers. I don't know if you guys saw those. They would do these weird covers where they would take a popular song. It'd be like "Hit Me Baby One More Time," but it would be like "Save America Jesus One More Time."
Oh my God.
And they would do these ridiculous songs, and it would be like God, hey, and they would do all their slogans. I'm not going to jump in.
I just want to meet Eastboro.
The Eastboro Baptist Church.
No relation. Jets and it's the West Side Story.
They're really. Actually, it's probably Scientology.
That's Eastboro Baptist. It's
Sure.
Scientology.
I remember when I went to go. It was in Chicago on vacation a couple years ago. I was driving through downtown, and just in the little shopping mall, there was a bookstore. A bar, and between them was a center for Scientology, and I was like, in a shopping center?
Oh yeah, that's all that they do.
I thought you guys brought in rich people. Okay, I'm not doing that well. All right,
yeah, it's not in that area. I mean, that's
Chicago.
Dude, there's a really good documentary on Scientology on HBO called Going Clear.
Somebody told me that.
I still haven't watched that.
Do you?
Yeah.
If you have blood pressure issues, double up on medication that day because you're just like. How?
Is that the
How
one
is this a thing?
Is that the one that Leah Remini's behind?
Yes.
Yeah, I'm dying to watch that because I remember.
And when she was on, was it Rogan or I don't remember where she was on. It might have been Rogan, but fuck, is it fascinating? Like all this shit is just. Oh no, she was on.
She was on 2020, which kind of sparked it.
She was on How Did This Get Made?
Oh,
that's what it was. So the Paul Scheer.
Yeah,
it was a special episode that was just her. It was like just her show or just something she was doing.
Just had her on as a guest.
And it's a really good episode where they talk to her and the guy that the other guy that defected from the church with her, Mike something, I can't remember, but
it was me.
A lot of Mikes. But dude, it's fucking. You're like you watch Going Clear. It's like watching. Did you watch Finding Neverland when it dropped? Well, you're just like how is this a thing?
That Finding Neverland changed a lot of people's minds who weren't already on the fuck Michael Jackson train. Yeah. Like people who had been up to that point, like defending Michael Jackson or at least saying that like, oh, it didn't happen, were suddenly like, fuck, we were wrong.
Dude, no, the best one is the R. Kelly documentary because that got R. Kelly in jail.
Yeah, R. Kelly arrested. That was a great week.
And then when he went on
the best documentary ever. When somebody's like, "Yeah, we need to arrest this guy like immediately,"
dude. Have you heard the Jared Carmichael joke about Michael Jackson is in heaven? You need to listen to that joke. No. It's fucking fabulous.
Jesus Christ. I remember like I had a buddy of mine who was like the world's biggest Michael Jackson fan, and after Finding Neverland came out, he's like, if I go to a bar and a Michael Jackson song comes on, I ask them to change it or I leave. And I was like, holy shit.
Jared Carmichael's joke is...
I'm going to pull it up.
It's really good. He talks about how basically like... I can't even say it. Like, I don't want to say it because I don't want to sound like it's coming from me. It's fucking hilarious, though. You need to watch that.
Well, I get this pulled up. Mike, you got any shows coming up anytime soon, man?
I got a show. Dude, I got a show tomorrow in Anderson, Indiana.
I played a show there when we were on tour.
No shit.
Yeah, but I cannot for the life of me. And the venue, I highly doubt still around. This was probably 2008.
Who was the guy whose clip you were mentioning?
Jared Carmichael.
Jared Carmichael.
Yeah, I gotta literally drive up to Cleveland tomorrow, pick up my mom, drive back home, drop her off, then drive to Anderson, Indiana. So I'm in a car for 10 hours tomorrow.
Yeah, possibly more.
Yeah, I'm gonna say 11 and a half to 12, probably more than likely. So
there was a band from Anderson, Indiana called Silver Screen Sleeper. I don't know why I remember that.
SSS?
Yeah, I guess. Yeah. Silver Screen Sleeper.
I can't find it.
Okay, I'll find it and shoot it to her too. It's good though.
I love a good. It's the same because I was never a huge Michael Jackson fan to begin with, like music wise, just wasn't my thing. But I love Michael Jackson covers. It's like the Beatles. I'm not a big Beatles fan, but their covers of Beatles songs are awesome.
I was never a Michael Jackson fan ever. I don't. That's why I'm like, yeah, he fucked kids or whatever. Like I've always thought that. So
fuck him. It's fine.
People are like, well, his music's good. Your music's gotta be damn good if you can fuck kids and still get away with it.
Because I was the world's biggest Lost Prophets fan until I found out their singer was fucking kids, and I'll never listen to Lost Prophets ever again.
Oh my gosh, they had a song called Last Summer that was like one of my favorite songs.
It's great, dude. They were my jam in middle school and high school, and then when that shit came out, I deleted it off my phone.
I have a fucking buddy that has Lost Prophet lyrics tattooed on both of his forearms.
That poor bastard. I was like,
dude, and not only here's what's crazy about the lead singer of Lost Prophets is that not only was he like, had like child porn.
Yeah,
we're talking. He had like a terabyte.
He was
child porn. He was running like a
ring.
Child pornography ring
because it was him and like these two women or something like that were because it was like their kids and they were getting all these other kids and they were trading stuff off and he was selling it like it was like a fucking like what you think of in terms of like drug dealers. Like it was that kind of thing with kiddie porn and it was so disgusting and fucked up. I looked at one of their music videos on YouTube the other day, and they all have like comments disabled, like like they're like we're not even gonna let this shit. Nah, fuck, I can't ever listen to that shit again ever. There's certain bands like As I Lay Dying when their singer tried to put a hit out on his wife. I was like, I don't feel right listening to these guys anymore.
It is hard, man, because it's like sometimes it's like on one hand, I don't want the person to like fuck up the art. It's like I want to connect. I want to disconnect the two realities.
It's hard.
And be able to like appreciate something as art and as being like from a creative part of this person's brain, and I'm cool with it, versus the other part of the brain that's like diddling kids, and like just be like, I'll separate from that piece of it and just focus on the art. But it's like
You're
it's
allowed
really
to
difficult to do.
You're allowed to like the art.
You are, and I do.
You can hate the person.
Dude, I'll listen to some Man in the Mirror in the car. I'm not gonna lie.
You can hate the person, but I mean, art's art. So that's really fucking weird.
Remix to Ignition. I want to go put roller skates on right now. And then go
It's a weird thing to say, but it's like somebody can be like, all right, like let's say if like fucking Hitler wrote fucking
his paintings.
Hey
His paintings were dog shit.
Well, what if he wrote Hey Jude? What if he came out with that? You know what I mean? Like you're like, fuck, that's a great song. But it's Hitler. Like,
yeah.
Well, Kevin Spacey's one of my favorite actors ever.
Yeah, that's
watching his movies is hard, especially because like I tried to watch American Beauty the other day, and I was like, this one is a little too close. This one I can't watch anymore.
It's fucking weird.
Yeah,
but you're like, God damn, he's such a good actor. No, because he was living his life in American Beauty.
Yeah, he was. But I also love that they had him digitally replaced by Christopher Plummer in that last movie he did. And Christopher Plummer ended up getting nominated for a fucking Oscar for it.
Really?
The last movie Kevin Spacey did, I cannot remember the name of it for the life of me. He was supposed to come out, and after all that shit came out,
at the Boys Club or something like that, because that was the last movie I thought was supposed to come out and didn't make any money or something. I can't remember.
Out of it, but it was a couple years ago. It was like 2018, 2019, and they had him digitally replaced with Christopher Plummer. They just replaced his head with Christopher Plummer's head, and he ended up getting nominated for an Oscar the next year.
That's so weird.
Which is just like, because Christopher Plummer, like I love Christopher Plummer, and so like knowing that like he died, and one of the last acting gig he had was basically a fuck you to Kevin Spacey. I'm like, that is fantastic. All right, folks, that'll do it for this week's episode of The Basement Lounge. If you want to follow us online, you can follow Mike Wells on Twitter and Instagram at MikeWTFWells. And you can follow me, Mike Shea, at Mr. Mike Shea on Twitter and Instagram as well. You can also follow this show on Twitter and Instagram at TBL_pod. And we got a brand new website under construction for you guys with some cool new stuff coming down the line as well. So stay tuned for that. In the meantime, we'll catch you guys again next week with another episode. And until then, as always, live well, rock on, take care, and bye-bye.